Yo, we are live. Welcome, everybody.
No.
Paul over there looking like he's going to pull a Werther's out of his pocket and offer it
You
to
never
me.
you never know. You never know. I'm trying to share this on Facebook. Give me I'm old, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
there.
he's
There.
old.
Oh. I can just do it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome,
Okay.
everyone, to Blacksburg on the Rocks.
What's going Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
We're waiting on Trey.
Love
He's
it.
getting in
Big
studio right now.
big big weeks
Oh,
here
yeah.
over the last 10 days for the two of us, Lord Doctor.
Yes,
Uh
it has been a huge couple of weeks.
yes. Yes.
Paul, you want to share the
For those
news?
that for those that don't know, not this past weekend, not the weekend of the 4th, but the weekend before that, my girlfriend Bridget and I were in New Jersey playing golf at her golf course where her dad always used to play. He's no longer with us, passed away quite a few years ago. Um, and I asked her if she would marry me, and I have her so fooled into believing that I'm a good person and a wonderful guy, yes, that she said yes. And so I'm very excited to announce that I am officially engaged, and we
Woo!
have no timeline to actually get married. We're thinking we're just going to do it at Main Street Pharmacy someday. We'll just have Jeremy preside over the wedding, standing up on the
Yeah, that's
counter,
fine.
wearing nothing but a tidy whities and his pharmacist jacket. That's kind of what we both want.
Dude, I am very, very happy to do that. Paul, I like Bridget a lot, and I don't see what she
Yeah.
sees in you.
Um, I could tell you, but then she would just be embarrassed. So we're just gonna we're just gonna gloss over this and move on. Chris Arnold. It was the thing with New Jersey was it's her
Well,
home
Chris
state.
Arnold
It was her
said
dad's
Paul's
home
still
golf
looking
course.
at his last race medals, and
I
nothing's
have
more
them over
romantic
here.
than
I
New
can.
Jersey.
You know what? Hold on. Fuck you, Chris. I'm like the I'm like the Michael Phelps of Roanoke running right now. Oh, hi Igor. How are you? Hey, buddy. So there. So this is what I got for you, Jeremy. Right here. Got some medals.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that? And I got
Yeah, look at all those
Igor
medals.
the Wonder Dog. Yeah. Yeah. So there, Chris. I'm kind of somewhat placing. Um, but yeah, no. So New Jersey was New. Shut up, Chris. New Jersey was good, and she said yes. I think I tricked her, um, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm very
Yeah, yeah.
excited to announce that this is happening.
I'm very
Are you planning
excited to
on?
go to the wedding, even though I
Okay.
resent Trey the link to this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
No,
He
I'm
said he'd
very
be on.
happy
He
to
said he'd be on.
go to your wedding since you missed mine.
Yeah. I. In all fairness to me, we had just met each other, and I did have
No,
some
we knew
other
each other for
things going on in
years.
my life.
It's just we were
I
just
had some
becoming
other
like friends.
like friends. Yeah, yeah. Prior to that, you were just my pharmacist, and
Yeah,
then I was like, this guy's kind of cool. And he shows up to my pregame show, and he buys us shots,
yeah.
and yeah, it's all good. It's all good. No more pregame show unless we do it. We could do it a pregame show.
That's what I'm saying. We could eventually roll over to that. I'd love to do pregame shows. I don't. That's actually a topic I was going to bring up later. We'll
Okay.
discuss that later, though. Uh,
Oh,
I
see now, see. There you go. There
woo,
you go.
Patty,
Patty
yeah.
knows what's going on. Patty knows what's going on. Best pharmacist ever.
Thank you,
Patty,
Patty.
honestly, I don't even know if I would give him best pharmacist on South Main Street. But that's okay. That's just me. I'm a jerk.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, and at least Patty likes me. I'd prefer that over
should I
your praise
try to get Bridget
day.
to come on the camera so you all can say hi to her? And
come, Bridget. Let us congratulate you. Also, make
Jeremy
note
says,
of the
come in here
cage
so he
code.
can congratulate you. The cage code?
Yeah, do you see the runner?
What is the cage code? Oh.
I've got a scrolling thing at the bottom that says, Bridget, run while Paul is distracted. The code to your cage is 42069. Because I'm an adult.
Are you, though? Oh.
Some people tell me I am. Yeah.
Chris wants you to come say hi also, Bridge. You're being beckoned by the masses.
Everyone wants her.
I don't think she's having any of our tomfoolery today. That's all right.
Nah, not at all.
It takes two to make a couple, and I am the wild, impulsive, crazy idiot who just does stupid shit on a somewhat regular basis. And Bridget is the level-headed, intelligent one who constantly has to reel me back in. That's how that goes. And the dogs are now wrestling out here. You gonna come say hi? It's because everybody wants to say congratulations. Just come stick your head in and just wait. That's all you have to do. Just move the dog. Oh, Jeremy, I think I convinced her to do it.
Yeah. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Here she comes.
See, Jeremy made a banner for you and everything.
Yeah, Bridget. Yeah. I made two banners for you.
Two banners.
Make note of the cage code.
Yeah, there's a cage code so you can escape, apparently, because I'm holding you captive here. 42069, because Jeremy's a grown-up.
I'm a grown-up.
Yeah.
My mom always tells me, Jeremy, you're a man now. Always. Always reminding me.
Sure, turn the light on. Let's see what happens. Oh, is that better? Yeah, look at that. Holy shit.
Yeah, look at him. All lit up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
I know it.
My weeks weren't as eventful. Really fucking angry at the town. The fucking town, I got all of this approved. I designed an entire new window design because I'm going through a rebrand. And the town, they told me I could not use it because it took up too much space on the windows because that counts as signage because they hate businesses in Blacksburg for some fucking reason.
What?
And it sucks because I should get an exemption because they planted that fucking tree right in front of my lit sign. Yeah. And so during the summer, you can't even see my fucking sign. And it's bullshit.
A guy that can get rid of that for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going full on fucking Alabama fan on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hit it with whatever that stuff was they put on that tumors tree in Auburn and just wait for nature to take its course.
God, that's one of the most fucked up sports stories I've ever heard.
I know. I don't like that kind of stuff. I can't get behind, right? Like we all know I'm a fanatic. Like I will do dumb shit for my sports teams, but like killing things, even if it is just a tree, killing things just for the sake of killing things. I don't know. I can't get in on that. I can't.
But speaking of crazy sports shit, Michigan's in a lot of trouble.
They are not.
No. Michigan's in a lot of trouble.
No.
According to my delivery driver, who's an Ohio State fan, Michigan's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is
it's going around the boards that Michigan's going to get as close to the death penalty as possible because of the
NCAA
child pictures on their computers.
The Ohio State fans are the biggest bunch of dipshit idiots on the planet. Like, you haven't beat Michigan in 3 years. Your coach can't coach. You out-talent everyone you play except for Michigan and teams in the playoffs. You have no ability to adjust to anything. Michigan's ran train on you the last 3 years. Like, just sit down and shut up. You're barely beating Penn State at this point, and once they overtake you, then you're fucked because nobody is going to be buying into Ohio State. Michigan is not in trouble. The NCAA already said that they 100% believe that Michigan is the national champion and that there's nothing else that's going to happen. Harbaugh is gone, so the witch hunt for Harbaugh, that's done. You guys knock it off.
I heard all their wins are going to get vacated. Going back like 3 years. That's what I heard.
They're not going to get vacated. No.
That's what I heard, Paul. I'm just telling you what I heard.
When's your...
You're the Michigan expert. I'm asking you. Like, I was surprised to hear it this morning, too.
None of it is true.
Because I thought I'd run across my radar. Yeah. None of it's true at all. But I mean, if that's true about the kid pictures, they're going to go into Penn State territory.
Joseph says, not a sports ball, or what are the pictures on their computers? There's no pictures on their computers. There are none. This is just Ohio State people making shit up for the sake of making shit up. You can't win a game, so you're going to make shit up. It's like Danny Cole catching the ball. MFer didn't catch the ball. You just keep making that shit up. Like, don't even go there with me. Don't even.
You talk about fucking Danny Cole not catching the ball. That is some bullshit.
Danny Cole.
He caught the ball.
Cole didn't catch the ball.
Oh my God. You were no.
Danny Cole didn't catch the. He did. He caught the ball, but he was like a foot out of bounds. So whatever. It's fine. That doesn't.
You went out of bounds.
Like if you.
Now you're just trying to get me worked up because you're worked up. I found a little sore spot on you, and that Michigan's the new Penn State. You're just mad.
This is.
Harbaugh's the next Joe Pa. It's going to take Michigan lawmakers to save them. That's what I heard.
I doubt it. This is how, like, and I mean this with all due respect to Virginia Tech fans, because I am a Virginia Tech fan also. I love me some Hokies. Michigan is my number one. Virginia Tech's my number two. My dream national championship would be the two teams playing against each other. I would wet myself if that ever happened. Let's
Who would you root for, Paul?
Prayers going up for that. But
who would you root for, Paul?
I would just root for everyone to have fun. I would root for Michigan.
No. Yeah, you wouldn't mean you would want Michigan to win over us getting our first natty. It would mean so much more to us.
You bring up a good point. I would not be upset if Virginia Tech beat Michigan in a national championship. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Tina, nobody's going to cancel me for that. No, Tina, nobody's going to cancel me for that comment. Look, here's the deal. And I've talked about this before, but I will reiterate this. Here's how irrelevant that is to those of us that are Michigan fans. I had to Google, and I had no idea what to Google, so all I Googled was Danny Cole caught that ball in order to find out what the hell you all had been talking about for 6 months. From January till, like, July, when I first moved here in 2016, I would introduce myself to people, and they'd say, "Where'd you come from?" I said, "Michigan." They would say, "Danny Cole caught that ball," and I'd be like, "I don't have a clue what you're talking about. I have no idea." But I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, I finally had to Google Danny Cole caught that ball, and then I found the video, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, now it all makes sense. I get it." I did remember it. It is.
How do you not remember that? Like, that was a Sugar Bowl.
It doesn't matter. What matters to Michigan fans is beating Michigan State, beating Ohio State, and winning national championships. That's it. I
mean, you went through quite a cold run of all those things for a while, Paul.
Yeah, 100%. 100% we did. And it was fucking miserable. I hated every second of it. Yes, absolutely. Like, I don't deny that, but, like, that's where we're at. Like, I honestly,
okay, I'm just saying.
I watched the video probably 1,000 times.
If you line them up,
I still don't remember it. Huh?
If you line them up, like, would you say that Michigan's wins have increased along with the amount of space they have to stay away from playgrounds and schools? Like, they're directly proportional.
I would say it's much less. It's much less because they don't have to stay away from playgrounds and schools. Yeah. No,
I don't know, Paul. From what I was hearing,
yeah.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
It's,
Frank Merritt.
It's weird seeing you get worked up over it because you normally get me worked up.
Frank Merritt says Michigan, the original groomer of Larry Nasser. He did go to undergrad school there. However, he did not start touching girls that were underage until he got to Michigan State or the U.S. Olympics. It's debatable.
Yeah, that was a terrible story that we're not going to go into because it's a happy show.
No.
And I'm happy because...
it is a happy show.
Yeah. Not to go into pharmacy stuff, but finally the FTC came out and announced some things that my organization was, like, working with them on for quite a while, and I'm very happy about it. So, yeah, it's a good day for Jeremy. A lot of things have happened today.
So does that mean you're gonna get paid more money and you could buy more shots at the pregame show that we're gonna do at Hokie House?
Not yet. Not yet. Pharmacies are still poor and will be for the foreseeable future until actual laws are passed.
Okay.
But no. Speaking of which,
Chris says that's how we greet Michiganders. It's like saying "What's up?" Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
But speaking of which, like, what the fuck are we gonna do for game days? Like, we can go to Tina and Frank's tailgate, but it's weird not having the pregame show and going and broadcasting for the pregame show and having fun there. Like, it's weird.
Well, I know.
We could just do it for Tina and Frank's tailgate and annoy everyone.
We could just do it. Yeah, we absolutely could. Yeah, we could do it. I don't think we would annoy everyone. I think you would be amazed at how many people would want to jump in and be part of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. We could bring Tina on to do traffic.
That's a big tailgate area. Yeah, Tina could do traffic.
Yeah.
From the chopper on the ground next to us.
Yeah. No, I'm all for that.
Every time I see a helicopter. Frank says it means we can enjoy the tailgate. Well, why couldn't you enjoy it before? I don't understand. I'm confused about that.
No. Frank and Tina have an excellent spot over on Southgate that everyone gets together for, and it is a blast. I rode my bike down there the other day. Yeah.
I think he's still on here. Jay Tucker, do me a favor. Text Trey, because you have his number, and tell him we're waiting for him.
I mean, we have Trey's number too.
Well, I know, but he responds to Jay.
That's true. He responds much better to Jay. And none of my bourgeois picks. He ignores those. Not even a thumbs up. Jeremy, you did so good.
Now, does he like the pictures of Tim Thomas tied up in your basement?
Yes, actually. He's a big fan of my fan fiction. Shout out, Tim Thomas.
Yes, the fan fiction, honestly, that might have been one of the greatest segments ever in Drive history.
I know. It just came out of nowhere. Just teasing Tim evolved into so many like messed up things that we did.
It was. Chris Arnold says Trey's watching WWE. He could be. It's possible. He may also be working. That might be the other thing because his family. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get him on here because I want to talk barbecue with him. I don't give a shit about talking football. We can talk football anytime. I want to talk barbecue with him. That's what I'm looking for. And can you explain to the people real quick? And I think I have like a very rough idea of how this came up, but can you please explain to the people what it means when friends of yours refer to you as El Presidente?
Yeah, my freshman year of college, I pretty much spent that entire year fucked up, and at the beginning of it, I went on like this little, like it was a getaway for the leadership dorms. And they put, title on the little thing to fill out because that was just a generic form. And instead of like Mr. or Miss or something like that, I wrote El Presidente. And then it got on my name tag. And so everyone started calling me El Presidente. And then I pledged my fraternity, and it really, really stuck. So if you hear me called LP or Prez or El Prez, that's where a lot of that comes from.
Okay.
It was a wild few years.
To do with your fraternity. Yeah. Well, it's been a wild few years for the last few years too. So probably been a wild couple of decades.
I'm just now slowing down. Like I pretty much like went into college and just went straight.
Okay. That's fair. Jay Tucker says, called him. He didn't pick up. Send him a message. Thank you, Jay. All right, let's discuss this until Trey gets here because I think we can go long time on this one. Tina Merritt, the lovely and talented Tina Merritt.
We love you, Tina.
Yes, you are an amazing human being. Frank outkicked his coverage by a long shot. You're absolutely wonderful. Seems to want to argue with me on a regular basis. Now, I said Trey's family owns a barbecue restaurant, which they do. They serve barbecue, or as the rest of the world likes to call it, pulled pork. Tina is adamant that barbecue is only allowed to refer to pulled pork. It is not when you throw steaks and burgers and Chris Arnold. I'll get to that in a minute. They do have good shakes. When you throw a burger and some hot dogs and maybe a couple of steaks on the grill, a couple chickens, you're not having a barbecue. You're having a cookout.
I'll back Tina up on that one. Unless you're smoking meat and throwing some barbecue sauce on it, I agree with that. But it's not just pulled pork. Yeah, you got your briskets, you got your ribs. If I couldn't have barbecue ribs, what would I be eating? Soup ribs? That'd be terrible.
So your definition of barbecue extends beyond just pulled pork butt on a smoker.
Yeah, it's pretty much got to be smoked meat with barbecue sauce. And anyone who tries to barbecue and doesn't use a lot of smoke, it blows my mind because that's a part of the flavor. But I was also like the Marnie family. They own barbecue restaurants. They're from Texas, and they taught me how to barbecue, and it's fucking excellent. And it's ruined a lot of barbecue for me, unless I go to a place like Trey's family's restaurant. Like,
okay,
yeah,
beef, brisket,
unless you're getting legit
barbecue chicken. Okay, but
there's Marnie.
So my point is, it extends beyond just pulled pork butt or shoulder in this case.
Yeah.
You can have brisket, you can have ribs, you can have so when I throw some chicken and ribs on the grill, I'm barbecuing. I put a dry rub on my ribs, I put a dry rub on my chicken, I spatchcock my chicken, and for those of you that think that that's a dirty word, Google it. It is the only way to cook a chicken if you're cooking it anywhere. You can even do it.
Everything's dirty if you use it the right way, Paul.
That is true.
Everything.
That is true. But
I just got spatchcocked real good.
Well,
solid spatchcocking.
If you come over to my house, I'll spatchcock you. Spatchcock you. Look at this. Frank Merritt says chicken is not barbecuing. Jay Tucker agrees with me. Tina Merritt says chicken is not barbecuing. But Frank is only saying chicken is not barbecue because Tina says that and he wants to sleep in the bed tonight. Let's focus on Jay Tucker agreeing with me that it can be more than just.
I agree with you, Paul. I'm not disputing that.
Joseph says barbecuing is low and slow only. Marnie, I would love to go ahead, change my mind. I mean, I think it's also a regional thing, right? Like when I say barbecue, I'm talking about cooking out. Whatever it has to be, just cooking out. You're barbecuing. Now, I get it that in the South, it's a specific type of meat, but like, it's all barbecue. You put it on the barbecue or the gas grill. Or
barbecue's a style. It'll forever be a style, Paul. This is ridiculous. Now, Trey will hopefully be here in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and move us over to. We need to discuss the football team because there's a lot of stuff happening.
Chicken is a barbecue. Yes. Marnie, cheers, brother.
Now, right now, there is a period of time where it's not really preseason, but it's leading up to preseason. Right. I call it the pre-preseason.
Right. Yes.
And during the pre-preseason, this is when hype is really building. This is when we all get our shit really, really tangled up. Preseason is where it's at absolute peak before our hearts are broken. But we are now in the preseason when the hype's really starting to build up. And so you're getting a lot of chatter. Yes. And with our recent recruiting wins and everything else, which we'll get into later, it feels like we're actually entering a season like a season that we were used to back in the day. And it's actually weird for me because a lot of the newer Hokies, they don't quite understand. Like, we've had a few good seasons, but like when I was in college, if we didn't have 10 wins, we always had 10 wins, that would be weird. Like, we had 10 wins no matter what during the season. We were always going to go to a decent bowl game. We were always going to come out, and I had a trip planned because we were going to go. I wanted to go to New Orleans and lose another Sugar Bowl every year. Like, it's fun. And there for a while, we were in the Orange Bowl all the time. And looking back, it was like I got mad because we were always in the Orange Bowl, and I didn't want to go to the Orange Bowl. And we were so fucking spoiled with that shit. Jay said, I searched the origin of barbecue. It derives from 1526 and is the act of grilling on a raised surface above a fire or heat source. So, Paul, you are correct here. God damn it, Jay.
Thank you, Jay Tucker.
Wow.
Jay Tucker, Pest Management Services.
You could have kept that to yourself.
If y'all have any sort of pests, ants, cockroaches, mice, snakes, anything like that, you go ahead and you get a hold of Pest Management Services Incorporated. The very handsome Jay Tucker and his hideously grotesque colleague, Michael Smolitz, will come out to your location, and they will get rid of all of the pests that you have. If you are like me and you live in Roanoke, the very handsome, suave, and debonair Devin will come out and take care of it. And sometimes if you catch Devin at the right time, like the end of a shift when he doesn't have anything else to do, he'll hang around and have a beer with you. But Jay, I didn't say that. Frank Merritt says Jay is full of shit. Frank Merritt is full of shit. So there. All right, continue. I apologize, Jeremy. I didn't mean to derail you, but I felt like I needed to be correct on something today.
Yes. Congratulations, Paul. You are correct in technically
play the music.
the best kind of correct.
Play the music for me.
Oh, yeah. Let's celebrate it.
Yeah.
Cheers, fuckface. So, what are you drinking today?
So, did I tell you the story about the rye that I discovered here in Roanoke?
Oh, yeah. You started getting into drinking rye.
Yeah. So, I discovered rye through Brady's and a couple of other local distilleries. And I decided that I really liked it. So we went to a restaurant here in Roanoke. We had a big family dinner. There was about 6 of us, myself and a bunch of Bridget's family. And we were sitting at the restaurant. And our waiter, fucking Trevor, hang on. Bridge, what was the restaurant where fucking Trevor works? The restaurant where Trevor works. All right. Anyway. Wow. Okay. So, fucking Trevor.
I got a soundboard. We're going to have fun.
Nice. We're talking about rye. And I said to him, what do you suggest? And he said to me, he goes, do you trust me? And I said, yeah, I trust you. Explicitly. Like, this is your job. You should know what's good. So, yes, I trust you.
His name is fucking Trevor. You trust him?
It's fucking Trevor. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. I trust people named fucking Trevor better than I do people named Frank Merritt.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
At least fucking Trevor would have shown up for golf on Saturday if I had invited him and he told me yes and wouldn't have wussed out because of the weather.
Is that what did Frank flake on you?
No, 100%. It was too hot, according to Frank Merritt.
He pulled an Andrew?
No, at least he texted me. Andrew would have just no-showed. Yeah.
Andrew will straight dip out.
Yeah. So, oh Jesus! Now Frank has gone and Googled. Okay, we're done with the barbecue stuff until. So anyway, I told Trevor, yes, I trust you explicitly. Like, do your thing. So he comes back over, sets down a double rye on the rocks, and I take a sip of it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's good. And he just walked away. And I was like, wait, Trevor, what? And he just kept walking. So finally he came back to the table and he goes, how's your rye? I said, it's fucking amazing, fucking Trevor. I said, what? Like, you got to divulge this to me. Am I spending like $40 on this drink? Like, what is it? And he starts laughing. He goes, you're not going to believe me if I tell you. And I was like, well, yeah, I will, because you have no reason to lie to me. So he proceeds to tell me that it is wild turkey rye.
Yeah.
Wild turkey, Jeremy.
Yeah, I can't believe you're like a wild turkey guy.
$29 for a fifth. I love it. It's amazing.
Wild turkey.
Seriously, it's
Paul,
amazing.
Bridget's house is way too nice for you to be drinking wild turkey.
No, I don't think so. I got to find out where we were at for dinner when we met fucking Trevor.
I feel like you're going to like, if you're drinking wild turkey, you're just going to like pull up facing it in like a Dale Earnhardt signature Monte Carlo, just blasting Def Leppard.
Maybe.
See, I don't like a lot of flavor with my sipping whiskeys. If I want flavor, I'm going to go to Scotch and I'm going to go high end because it's one of those things where it's just, I don't know. I'm getting a sipping whiskey, I'm just trying to get drunk.
How am I being a douche, Frank? I'm not being. I'm telling the truth. I did call you late Friday night.
To be joyless and without
agreed,
sensation.
and you agreed to come, and then Saturday morning you texted me and were like, "Nope, I'm out. Deuces, bitch. It's too hot." Like, I'm not being a douche.
It's okay, Frank. It was too hot. Paul's being a douche nozzle. You are a nozzle of douche, Paul.
Anyway, wild turkey story. There you go. I have the Virginia.
See, that's
Tech
why I do the
schedule
JMO.
up,
I don't get
Jeremy.
hungover with the JMO. It's triple distilled, doesn't have a lot of taste. I put it on the rocks and I get hydrated that way. No hangovers.
See, and I think that the Jameson, I like Jameson. But I don't know that I could just sit back like this and just drink Jameson.
Oh, I can. It just goes down.
Well, I know you can. Right out of the bottle.
Then again, I can just sit back and drink anything. I always got like shit-faced, and I had nothing but like pineapple vodka. And old genius Jeremy, he was just like, man, that's pretty much potatoes and pineapple. What goes well with potatoes and pineapple? Chicken. So I heated up chicken broth and mixed it with pineapple vodka.
Oh.
It was fucking terrible. But I drank it anyway. I was hammered.
Jesus Christ. Oh, hang on.
I was going through a phase where I'd get drunk and watch Disney movies. So I like drank that chicken broth vodka and watched Moana.
Shout out to
what
Noah
a night.
And Mary. Shout out to Noah and Mary. We went to Fortunatos in Roanoke. I don't know how to pronounce it. Fortunatos, I think. It's like Fortuna Toes. T-O-S.
And that's where fucking Trevor is.
Yes. That's where fucking Trevor. Oh, it was Bridget. It was Bridget and Noah that did it. I thought it was Mary. It was Bridget and Noah that did it. Okay. So shout out to them for setting me straight on that. If you ever want a good meal and an amazing experience with a waiter, go to Fortunatos, however you say it.
Fortunatos.
And ask to Fortunatos, sure, and ask to sit in fucking Trevor's section.
And that's in Roanoke?
That's in Roanoke, yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. I encourage it. In fact, Jeremy, we should just set up a double date. Okay. You and me and Emily and Bridget, and we should go there and sit in fucking Trevor's section and drink wild turkey rye.
That sounds great. I'll just pass out at your house. My dogs can watch my child. It's fine.
We've got a spare room right on the other side of this wall that has a nice pull-out bed. You can crash right on that.
Nice.
We'll take care of Emily and Maddie Ryan Counts.
Oh yeah, she'll love that.
Yeah.
In my pull-out, Fortunatos, they've got that Amontillado. That's so good. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either, Joe, but I believe you. Amontillado? Is that like a dish?
It's hard to pronounce, so it's got to be good.
Now I'm going to Google what the hell whatever that is. Continue with your Hokie football.
Yes. Let's put it back up. Okay, the preseason. So we're going in. Everyone that comes in the pharmacy, all they want to talk about is Hokie football. We're in the preseason. Yeah. The hype is building. Do you have an estimate on wins? What you think we're going to hit?
I'm glad you asked me that because I actually have the schedule pulled up on my handy mobile device. And I can tell you that I think they go 4-0 to start the season. Vanderbilt should be a win. Marshall coming here. They're anybody that was on the team last year, which is everybody that is starting this year, should be so pissed that Marshall is coming to this game should be over at halftime, and the Marshall players should look like a mash unit. Like if that doesn't happen, I'm going to question the motivational ability of the Virginia Tech football staff, because there is absolutely zero reason for Marshall to come in here and even begin to put up a fight after what happened last season. That should be an absolute shit kicking. Yes.
It should
Same
be.
thing with Old Dominion. Even though you got to go over to Hampton. And I don't really get that. Like, I get going to Vanderbilt. You're going to an SEC school.
It's fucking ridiculous.
That.
We should never have to travel for that fucking game. That scheduling was so fucked.
Correct. I understand the concept of, well, we're pulling kids from that Hampton Roads area, so let's go play a game there.
I don't give a shit about the concept. Fuck the concept. No. It was a dumb idea.
No. It's a terrible idea.
That's fucking child's play with that shit.
Yeah.
No.
You should give Old Dominion $250,000 to come here every year and just take their ass whooping and go home.
Exactly. There's no reason we should ever go over there and have our offensive staff get stuck in an elevator.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And we should never have to play fucking Liberty. Yeah, Rutgers we should kill.
Agreed. Rutgers should be, because Rutgers, I think, has lost everybody that they had last year on that team that was any good, whether it be to the draft or aging out or transfer portal. Rutgers isn't going to be the same team. Then you have to go to Miami. So that game will be interesting because you never know what you're going to get from Miami, right? Like, if there's a Pitbull concert and Hooters is doing 2-for-1 wings down in South Beach, ain't nobody showing up for that game. If both teams are 4-0 and Pitbull isn't doing a concert and Hooters is charging full price for their wings, you might have a full Hard Rock Stadium. It's a crapshoot.
See, that's why I wanted to play Miami later in the season, because later in the season, the wheels would have fallen off the program like it does every single year.
Yep.
They have all the talent, and the wheels just fall off. And if you play them later in the season, you're going to win. But if you catch them early, they're still like hope, and they still play.
Yeah, they still believe. So that could be a matchup of 4-0 teams. I do like the fact that Virginia Tech has 4 games that are very winnable ahead of that, so you can knock the rust and the dust off of everything before you go down to South Beach. I don't know what Miami's schedule looks like prior to Virginia Tech. I could look it up, but I'm not in the mood right now. They have to travel to the West Coast to take on Stanford. That should be a win. I don't care that you got to travel 3 time zones to play. Stanford is not what Stanford was when Jim Harbaugh was coaching them. They're a subpar Pac-12 program, and the Pac-12 is a subpar Power 5, or was a subpar Power 5 conference. So you should beat Stanford. Boston College.
I'll never forget Stanford lighting us up for the bowl game. Stanford lit us the fuck up, and we were good that year. They had Andrew Luck.
What year was this?
Oh, I forget the exact year. They had Luck at the time, and it was like Tyrod's last game, and it was, he deserved better. You deserve to go out better, Tyrod.
Yeah. Tyrod versus Luck, though, could be really cool if it was played correctly.
Yeah. Weird thing is Tyrod had a good game.
Yeah?
Yeah, he had a good game. Played his heart out.
Was it?
Yes.
I don't even know.
Andrew Luck had an excellent game. We ended up, they pulled away in the second half. They killed us.
That was the Jim Harbaugh era there, too, right? Yeah, because Harbaugh coached Luck.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So, got beat by Jim Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech, 2010, Chris says. Okay, I believe Chris. He knows what's going on. Dr. Beluzzo, if you need your back adjusted, by the way, go see Dr. Beluzzo at South Main Chiropractic. He'll fix you right up. If you have headaches, in all seriousness, I didn't realize this was a thing. I was in my late 30s before I found out that chiropractic adjustments can actually get rid of headaches. I suffered with headaches from the time I was like 6 years old. Had I known back then, I wouldn't have had all those nights where I threw up because I had a headache. Go see Dr. Beluzzo. Speaking of headaches, we play Georgia Tech on October 26th, but that's here. So the biggest thing we have to do is we just have to go have someone stand in front of the Tech sign in front of Lane Stadium so that nobody steals the tee, because arguably the dumbest tradition in college football is Georgia Tech fans stealing the T from other stadiums.
I'm just really glad they don't run the fucking triple option anymore. That was annoying.
Fair.
They could be terrible, and they would still catch you off guard every once in a while and beat you during a season where you've got a good team and they're still catching you off guard because fucking triple option, no matter how good your defense is a bitch to defend.
It is a bitch to defend. It is a bitch to defend. That's for sure. Syracuse comes to town, or we go to Syracuse after that. That should be a win. I mean, that's a program rebuilding, so that should be a win. Then Clemson comes. Potentially, I believe that could be a matchup of 2 9-0 teams. That could be a top 10, top 15 matchup in college football if Virginia Tech can take care of business against Miami in week 5. Then you got Duke and Virginia. I don't think Duke is going to be that good. I don't think Virginia is going to be that good. So high ceiling, no joke, 9-2, or is it 11 games or hold on, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4, 6, I don't even know how many, 8, 10, 12. So it's 12 games on the regular season, 10-2, 11-1, potentially for Virginia Tech if they take care of business. Now, here's the problem. And Jeremy, I apologize for this. I'm not saying this to be an asshole, but you all know it's true. There is going to be one of these games. The Syracuse, the Georgia Tech, the Boston College, the Stanford, the Rutgers. Lord help us if it's Old Dominion or Marshall. I will stop rooting for Virginia Tech. I swear to fucking God. If you lose to Marshall or Old Dominion, I will stop cheering for Virginia Tech. I can't do that anymore. But like one of those middle games prior to Clemson, Stanford, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Virginia Tech likely could potentially drop that game. I want to say that the tides have turned and it's all changing and it's a new regime and all of that, but
Paul, we dropped one even when we were at our peak. We would always just drop one.
I know. Yeah.
Now, hey, I think we're going to roll in, and I hope we roll into Miami undefeated. I think we'll drop one at Miami, and I think we'll come back and we'll beat Clemson. I don't think Clemson's going to be that good this year. I think NC State's going to be better than Clemson. I think people sleeping on NC State.
So Miami starts the season off against Florida. So they might get shit kicked in week 1. Then they have Florida A&M, Ball State, and South Florida. They could easily lose to South Florida. They probably would beat A&M and Ball State, and then they play against us. Then they have Cal, Louisville, Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Syracuse. So potentially Miami could be 2-2. And it's not a stretch to say that they could be 2-2 when they take on Virginia Tech. Now, the only thing is that game is going to be played down in Coral Gables. So you got that. They have that going for them. But 10-2,
it's doable.
That brings us back to where you said we were, should be, could be, and I think that's fine.
If it's a 9 or 10 win season, that is a big win from where we were just a few years ago. And if we get to that and we've brought this program along that much, we're going to have to be fighting SEC programs off for Pry just because he turned us around that much. Yeah, and absolutely. I know people are arguing, oh, it's a weak schedule, blah, blah, blah. You still got to be consistent, and it's still hard to be consistently good, no matter how much talent you have. Mm-hmm. And that's why you see, like, Alabama, even in, like, their best years, they'll struggle against some bullshit team every single year. And people will go, oh, I don't think Alabama's that good. And then it's like, oh, nope, there they go. Nope, they're fine. They just beat the shit out of somebody. But now that team is Georgia. Right. I really feel like it's flipped to where this, like, the script of the SEC now is it's Georgia's time. Like, this is their dynasty. And I know we had, Georgia ended up losing to Alabama last year, but Georgia had the better team. To me, that was the better team.
Yeah.
Do you think the ACC survives?
I agree.
Another year?
Maybe one more. I think that these conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC are looking right now to see who can we take and know that we're not going to end up with Rutgers and Vanderbilt as a team, right? We don't want to pick up also Rans, right? So, I think Virginia Tech trending upward is good for them, and Virginia Tech is one of those programs geographically that can be in either one of those conferences because Penn State, Ohio State, Maryland, Rutgers, all of those are easy trips for Virginia Tech, right? You had South Carolina, Kentucky, even Alabama Auburn is not a tough trip for Virginia Tech to make, right? So Virginia Tech and Virginia, for that matter, are in a really good position where potentially you could go either direction, right? You could go north to the Big Ten or south to the SEC. And either way, you win, right? Either way, you win. The only thing that the Big Ten has that may prevent Virginia Tech from getting in there is that stupid AAU rule that they have.
They don't care about that. Everyone brings it up. They straight up said they don't care about that as much anymore.
Yeah.
Because they've got to.
Because they let Nebraska in, and I can guarantee you Nebraska does not qualify for AAU.
It does not. But also AAU is surprising. There's political shit involved with that. But, I mean, we're working on that.
Yeah.
Syracuse could be our speed bump. We have consistently struggled at Syracuse from Frank Merritt. Going to the Carrier Dome fucking sucks. If we go to the Carrier Dome and win, I'm always happy. Yes, it does. Yeah. Dreams go to die at the Carrier Dome. It always.
Evol wants to know if we're excited for the new playoffs.
I
absolutely am. 100%.
I love it.
100%.
And Mike McDaniel, if you're out there, I know you hate the expanded playoffs. I do not. It's more football. Why do people hate more football? Like, they're just like, but you're not getting the best teams, and it's just, what's it matter in the end? What matters is we have more football games, and it's exciting. And you get to spread some of that fucking money around a little bit more.
Here's the thing that I'll tell everyone, and this is just, I'm shooting from the hip here, but out of the 121 Power 5 and FCS schools that can be in the top 25 ranking, there was like 20 to 25 of them that had 10 wins or more last year. So 20 out of 110 is a pretty elite group when you talk about college football. So Virginia Tech can consistently get, I mean, you're talking about the likes of Michigan, Washington, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, Oregon.
The likes of Michigan, everyone. The likes of Michigan, he says.
Ohio State, Ole Miss, Penn State, Notre Dame. Like, these are the teams that consistently have 10-win seasons, right? And I'm just going down the top 25 ranking, Jeremy. That's why Michigan was first.
Ole Miss consistently has 10-win seasons?
Ole Miss consistently has 10-win seasons, yeah. They were 11-2 last year.
I know they were good last year.
They lose.
That's last year.
Here's how I'll give it to you. Ole Miss is the Big Ten equivalent to Penn State. They have more talent than most every other team they play. They play against the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Auburns of the world, and that's where they trip up, and they end up being 10-2 on the year. They can out-talent probably, I don't even know, how many teams are in the SEC? 15, 16, something like that? They can out-talent like 12 of them.
Not that many.
Consistently. Is there not?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I think there might be more. I think there might be 7. I think there might be 14.
What did people do before? What did people do before Google's?
Before Google,
wait, no,
they
you're
did
right.
shoot from the hip like we.
16 with adding Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so 14 previously, right? So
how did people even podcast before the internet?
They did.
Ridiculous.
They didn't.
Can't fact check in real time.
So they out talent out of the 14 teams that were there before, probably 11 of those 14 teams, maybe 10 if you include them, so 10. And then, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, they got to play one or two of them every year, and they get the hell beat out of them by those teams. So that's how Ole Miss gets. Ole Miss is like Penn State. Penn State does the same thing. They run train on everybody in the Big Ten until they play Ohio State and Michigan.
I just didn't know they were that consistent. I guess I don't pay enough attention to them. No, I had no clue they were that consistent. Like they've been building up. But speaking of like teams that are fairly consistent and hit around, how much do we fucking hate FSU right now? They're making our conference implode. They're causing a bunch of shit all the time.
But if we can go 2, then I don't hate them. Now, if we end up like Oregon State and whoever the hell else is left from the Pac-2, then it's shit. But I don't see that happening.
Well, this is what annoys me. Like, everyone talks about, like, Virginia getting into one of the big two. The SEC's never going to take Virginia. Like, no. I don't know what
the
they're
Big Ten will,
about.
The Big Ten will, though, because of basketball.
Because of basketball and because of the fact that they bring research money out the ass. And Big Ten schools, like, all that money floating around, they would balance out what they're doing. SEC, not so much. Those schools aren't exactly known for their research.
No, they're not there to play. They're not there to play school. They're not there.
They are not. Play school. I think if it comes down to it, like if you go to a value add, we're the more value add. Like people are like, oh, Virginia, like that's obviously like the flagship school of the state. No, they're incredibly small and they don't even dominate like the markets that they're near. The only market they dominate is Charlottesville. And I know, quote unquote,
and they don't even do that when Virginia Tech is in town.
Yeah, the argument is markets don't matter anymore. They still do, and the fact that no one watches any of their shit matters too. Like we bring a bunch of different markets. Media markets still matter.
Oh yeah, for sure. We bring DC, we bring Northern Virginia, we bring the Tidewater area, Northern North Carolina. Like there's a ton of Virginia Tech alums in Charlotte, right? Like
yes, that's what people also don't understand is that area of Charlotte of North Carolina. That's a very Virginia Tech area. People really don't get that.
Oh yeah,
like they
look
at it, they don't
Pub.
understand it. Graham Street Pub, yes.
Graham Street Pub is where I was drinking the night I puked all over Andrew Alex's bathroom.
I went to Graham Street Pub. The only time I've been able to go was during the bowl game against Kentucky. And I realized very quickly, I fucking hate Kentucky fans. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
They are not fun at all.
Yeah.
And I'm from Southwest Virginia. I grew up right on the border. And I would have Kentucky friends from like Pikeville or whatever. You know, they're fun. UK fans from just Kentucky in general, they're fucking awful. They're not fun. Like during bowl games, I normally do shots with a bunch of people. Like even here in Blacksburg, if we have something going on, if it's before a game and I see opposing fans, I go and I do shots with them and I celebrate. Like I do that kind of thing. Kentucky fans wanted none of that. They fucking sucked. And it's like, we never play each other. Why are you pharmacists no fun? It's true. We do. We know our substances.
Yeah. That is true.
But no, fuck
what is
Kentucky fans.
FSE? Oh, I see.
FSU.
Okay. I was okay. FSU. I was confused by that for a minute.
No, I see why Tennessee fans fucking hate them so much. And Tennessee fans are fun. I like Tennessee fans.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Southwest Virginia where you chose either Virginia Tech or Tennessee. And so I had a bunch of friends who were Tennessee fans, and I still didn't fucking hate that, but I wasn't a fan of Tennessee. I didn't care all that much. And then you go and you see the Tennessee fans, and they're out, and they'll have drinks with you. They'll have fun with you. Kentucky fans fucking suck.
The game at Bristol. The game at Bristol.
The game at Bristol was a blast.
Ever pregame show. Yep. And
really, I didn't know that.
Set up. That was my first ever Virginia Tech game. First ever pregame show. Yep. That was 2016. That was the first game of the Justin Fuente and Paul Van Wagner era. I outlasted Justin Fuente, by the way.
Yeah, Paul outlasted Justin Fuente.
Dave Perks had a stick with me here because this ball bounces around a lot. Dave Perks had a friend whose brother was in a fraternity with this guy who had this giant tailgate set up, right? So, and he said that we could come do our show from his tailgate. I was like, all right, cool. We got there, Jeremy, no joke. There was more food, more barbecue, more booze, more beer than I had ever seen in my life. And they were like, eat. And I was like, I will as soon. It was my first pregame show, so I was nervous, right? Like I wanted this to go right. I was like, as soon as we're done with the pregame show, I'll eat. Just, let me get through this hour and then we'll eat. And when we finished the pregame show, they were walking over to us with plates of food. And we're just like, show's over. Here you go. It's just like, all right. And his wife was a Tech alum. He was a Tennessee alum, and they were the most gracious, wonderful. I have no idea who they are, but they were the most gracious, wonderful people. They could have told us to pack sand, but they were like, no, come on, people we don't even know that are with ESPN radio, and just do a broadcast from our tailgate. We're here for it. And so forever grateful for that. That was one of my first experiences with opposing fans at a Tech game. And I was like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. And the Battle of Bristol, everyone complains because, you go there and I don't remember much of the game except all the fumbles. I remember we were doing really, really well, and it looked like we were going to bitch smack them. And then we started fumbling left and right, and it just kind of devolved from there. I was fucking hammered. But it was a blast. And everyone talks about, like, you couldn't do all this stuff. I don't care. That environment, that tailgate environment, everything else, I will gladly take shitty seats to go ahead and be in that, because game day to me is not just about the game. Don't get me wrong, the game's the most important thing. I will sit on a certain place on my couch if I think it'll make us win. I do not care. When me and Emily first started dating, we made Emily go back to the bathroom just because we scored while she was in the bathroom. And I'm not a superstitious person, but when it comes to sports, I am.
Oh, I am 100% when it comes to sports.
Yeah, when it comes to sports, I just am. But that environment is worth always going back.
Error. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would.
I'll give this.
If somebody said to me we're doing battle at Bristol again, I would want them to be there.
All right. Here, I'm going to say it.
All right. We're coming up on an hour. I don't think we're going to get Trey, but that's okay. We'll just keep pestering him. We'll promote him next. We'll just keep promoting that Trey is going to join us. And
it's going to be a running gag now. Hot take. I think Thu in the right situation would be a really good coach. I don't think he's a great head coach in a lot of ways. I think he's a good offensive mind, but I think he was incredibly handicapped whenever he came here because we were so far behind, and Frank and Bud just straight spoiled us. We were used to running next to nothing.
Define the handicap for me, because
we did not have the infrastructure. Here's the thing. Thu played by the rules too much. Too fucking much. And he burned a lot of bridges with recruiting because he played by the rules too fucking much. Thu in that era was not who we needed at that time. I think he was a good offensive mind. I think he was too loyal to his coaching staff. I think he had a lot of issues rolling around there. But I think we handicapped him because I don't think we were funding football enough at that time. And I think if we had a different situation at the time with our funding and we had kept up with things, because even Frank was falling off there at the end. Texas to VT. Yeah, Wayne. No, everyone forgets
Ohio.
This. Frank was kind of forced out in a way. He retired, but people were getting mad because we weren't winning as much as we used to, and we were like, all right, let's get this hot young coach and we'll do all this. But it was different then. And 2015,
So-
I'm afraid I cursed us because I went to my fraternity's tailgate, and that was the infamous bloodshot. That was when that happened. And so I went there, and we did the bloodshots and ended up going to the game. And that's when Brewer broke his collarbone. I pretty much cut my hand and bled into my shot glass a few drops with whiskey and then took the shot because I wanted to bless the season. And everything was downhill from there. So I blame myself and my brother.
Okay. All right. So I have some rebuttals for you. I hadn't written them down.
Right.
I probably should have, but that's okay. Fu was Fu's worst enemy. Okay. And as a member of the media at the time, I feel very qualified to talk about this.
First, before you start,
when times are tough,
who did you like least? Who did you like least? Fu or Buzz?
Buzz, and it's not even close. Because anyway, Buzz, and it's not even close. That's
what I get from everyone in the media. As standoffish as Fu was, Buzz was Buzz.
Yeah, 100 times worse. So Fu was Fu's worst enemy. Okay, when you are down, Frank is a perfect example of this, right? Frank, everybody loved Frank. Frank treated the media very well. If you wanted something from Frank as far as like an interview or just some time to sit down and talk about things, Frank made time for you in the media, right? So when the shit got tight for Frank, the members of the media wouldn't crucify him.
Yeah.
Just simply, right? It wasn't an easy article to write if you wanted to crucify Frank, right? With Fu, because he was so standoffish, because he would just not do anything to help his own cause, when the shit got bad and the fans were calling for his head, like, you go back and look, like, you know, all of the media outlets, ESPN Blacksburg included, were like, yep, it's time for this dude to go. You said he was loyal to his assistant coaches. He was, to a fault. He should have cut ties with Brad Cornelsen after year 3, right?
Yeah.
Because we would sit in post-game media and the offense would look like shit. And they would lose a game like 17-3 or 17-9 or something like that. And Andy Bitter or Norm Wood would raise their hand and they would say, is it time for you to start taking over the play calling responsibilities? And Fu would get indignant and he would tell them, that's the dumbest question you've ever asked in your entire life. And it wasn't. It legitimately was a good question. Brad Cornelsen had no business calling a Power 5 football game. Go ahead. I'll continue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And that's a weird thing for me is I knew those people, but also I've got to separate knowing people and your interactions with them from the actual job they're doing. And Cornelsen should have been gone a long time ago. And I was one of the people who wanted to believe that things would get better, but it just didn't. And it was obvious play calling issues. And the offense coordinator is an easy person to blame all the fucking time. Yeah. Everyone goes to it all the time. It's a lazy argument usually, but in that instance, it was not.
But who calls the plays? No. And that's the thing. Yeah. Like, I am not a fire the coach guy. I never have been. I never will be. Right? Like, people were calling for Harbaugh's head at Michigan in year 3 and 4, and I was like, no. Like, because everyone's like, ooh, anybody would be better. Well, motherfucker, I'm anybody. Would you like to have me coach Virginia Tech football? Fuck no, you wouldn't. I don't know shit about that. So anybody wouldn't be better, right? So he was loyal to Brad Cornelsen to a fault. He should have cut ties. And I realized Corn was his boy. They were best men in each other's weddings. But at some point, you sit down with him and you go, listen, Jeremy, I love you. I will love you forever. I will give you a great recommendation, but I got to take over the play calling. Like, this isn't a matter of you and me being boys. This is a matter of me saving both of our jobs, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is big boy football. This is Power 5 football.
Right.
Like, well, now Power 4.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
you can't mess around with it.
Yeah. I'm making $3 million a year. You're making almost $1 million a year. This isn't about us being friends. This is about us keeping our jobs so that we can continue to cash those big
MC Hammer
paychecks.
shit. Like, it felt like MC Hammer shit, where he went broke because he kept his entourage.
Yeah.
And just, like, paid for fucking everything. Yeah. That's a lot of what it was. Fuente sympathizing podcast right now.
Not a Fuente sympathizer. No. Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
I'm saying we didn't keep up with the thing.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Fu,
now, I do agree with
he made his bed.
I do agree with you that the funding was atrocious.
Yeah.
But, you know, Wayne brings up a good point. You know, all those players that left. Yeah.
Yeah, my point was, it wasn't to, like, apologize for Fu. My point was, if Fu wouldn't have, like, shat the bed so much, we wouldn't have had a situation where we were funding our football program as well as we are right now to make a situation for someone like Pry. We would not have. And I think in the right environment, Justin Fuente can really contribute really well. I understand.
Commit Tax Fraud says, who cares about Fuente? Time to forget. Here's the deal. I'll tell you this. Okay. And again, I'm going back to my Michigan fandom, right? We still talk about the Rich Rod era, how bad the Rich Rodriguez era was at Michigan. Right. Yeah. So like, it's one of those things that those down eras, and this is recency bias for both programs, right? Like all of us in our lifetime will remember the Rich Rodriguez era at Michigan and the Justin Fuente era at Virginia Tech. And how it very similar, like if you draw easy parallels to those two eras, and both programs suffered for a long time after those coaches left. Now, Virginia Tech seems to have their shit together quite a bit quicker than Michigan did. But I also think that the bar was a little bit higher for Michigan, right? Like, again, we're talking about you get to 9-10 wins here at Virginia Tech. We're happy. Michigan, it's a national championship, or we're not happy. So the bar is a little bit different, but still, like the parallels are easy to draw between the two eras. And
my entire thing is
Justin Fuente did no favors for Justin Fuente.
No, you've got to bring this stuff up every once in a while because you can't forget. Like, you have to remember your mistakes from the past, because when you get complacent, and this comes in not just being a sports fan or he's right. Any statement about Fuente that doesn't end with "fuck that guy" shouldn't exist. No, I'm talking about that entire era.
We'll get to that.
If you're not remembering the mistakes of the past, and we don't make these calls as fans, we really don't
repeat them. Yeah.
But still, as fans, you have more say than you think you do. Like, your opinion is weighed, and sometimes it's dismissed, but if there's enough of it, and they're going to listen to you. It is still important to remember what happened in the past and to revisit that every once in a while, because if you get complacent, you're going to end up in a situation where we were like at the end of Beamer's era. And you have to keep reminding the administration that you can't get complacent, because they're going to go ahead and they're going to do whatever they think is best for the athletic department. And sometimes they may forget. And it's our job as fans to remind them. And I think that's important. And I think that's why this dialogue still needs to continue, because every once in a while we do need to revisit this. Anyone Yes, Wayne, you missed the entire first part. We had like 10 minutes of congratulating Paul. Wayne, you'll have to go back
and watch it after. Yeah. Bridget was even here. She was standing right there, and she was happy to be here. So anyway, Rod Fuente, fuck that guy. There you go. But again, like Jeremy says, we can't do not just dismiss that era, because it would be very easy to look back. I think Brent Pry is doing an excellent job right now. I think he's doing this thing right?
Yes.
He goes from, 3 wins to 5 wins to bowl game. Now this year, let's kick this thing up, 8, 9, 10 wins, right? and then we're building this thing correctly. You got to remember, Fuente went 10 wins, 8 wins, 6 wins with a Marshall game that had to be rescheduled in order to get you to 6 wins to not making a bowl game. So I would much rather see the current trajectory versus the previous trajectory. I feel a lot better about this era of Virginia Tech football than I felt about any era that I've been involved with previously, which is simply just the Justin Fuente era.
And that brings up the next thing I wanted to bring up, recruiting. We're doing really well in recruiting right now. Now that NIL's out and we can actually like throw our money around more in the open, it has really started to take off because also Pry, he's got proof of concept and he's selling it to these kids. He's likable. It's something that I think is really going to propel us forward when we have went back and we've repaired all those bridges that we've burned, because those bridges were straight burned in the state of Virginia. And it wasn't, I said it was because we didn't play the game. It wasn't just because we didn't play the game. It was because it was also it was a standoffish attitude. It was an attitude where, I'm going to go and recruit the entire nation, and that's not how we can do things here.
And real quick, Jeremy, who took advantage of that downturn in Virginia recruiting when Fuente and his crew were here pissing all over everybody? It was Brent Pry
North Carolina.
and Penn State, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Brent Pry already had the cachet with these schools, especially north of us, right? And so now it's just a matter of you just go, okay, look, everything that I told you at Penn State, I'm still doing, but I'm just doing it as the head man at Virginia Tech. Bring the kids, keep them here, keep them in Virginia. We're putting a fence around Virginia. He said that. He made that comment. I love that comment, right? We're putting a fence around Virginia, and we aren't letting the good players out of here. So have them come here to Virginia Tech. Now, obviously, when Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan come calling, it's tough to win those battles no matter what you're doing. But, I love what Fuente...
I love how you throw Michigan in there all the time now. Michigan's a recent power. That wasn't a thing back then.
They are not. They are historically a powerhouse program that had a few down years. I will put Virginia Tech right back in the Michigan conversation if Pry can get us those 10, 11 win seasons on a regular basis with the new playoff ranking. 10 wins can easily get a program into the playoffs.
It'll get us in. That's why I love the new playoff expansion, even though people are like, oh, but you're just going to have these teams killing other teams. I don't fucking care. We can make the playoffs. You can extend my hope farther. And dropping one random fucking loss and you still go on to win the conference doesn't put you out of the national title conversation like it did back in the day. Right. I remember waking up just to try to check online to try to see what the rankings were going to be. We don't have to worry as much if we have one drop and we have a really good team. Right. That's important, and that's why I like the expanded playoffs.
Just to give you all an idea here. Oh, that's not what I want. Hang on. Just to give you all an idea here. I
love you and your old man glasses.
My old man glasses.
All right.
Just to give you.
Let me tell you.
So here's what. All
right, come on, P-Pop.
Here's what we would have had. All right, we would have had LSU versus Alabama. This is based off the last rankings, right? So they dropped Alabama down to 5. I don't think they were the 5th best team, but whatever. Based off the last rankings. Now you tell me where there's a game that sucks here. If last year was a 12-team playoff race, and I'm using the final rankings, so don't come at me with Alabama was in the 4 spot. They would have got a bye. I understand that. I'm just using this because it's simple.
Shut up with your logic, everyone.
Alabama would have played against LSU in the first round. Florida State would have made the playoffs and would have played against Arizona. Oregon, Ohio State, and Missouri versus Mississippi Ole Miss. The winners of those games would have went on to play Georgia, Texas, Washington, and Michigan. You tell me that isn't must-watch football in the first round of the playoffs,
Yes,
I would
and people
give me Alabama LSU in the first round of the playoffs over the Boca Raton Bowl or the
exactly
Hayside.com Bowl.
Hayside.com is pretty great.
The Grundy Walmart Bowl. What?
You bitch. No, that's my thing is everyone complains about
Grundy
bowl games
Walmart
that
is
doesn't
A+.
matter. Expanding the playoffs makes bowl games matter. It makes them matter a whole lot more.
Yep.
Because at this point, with 12, we're
Big-
well beyond like the BCS, like New Year's Eve bowl games that used to be a big deal. We're well beyond that. We've made more playoff, like bowl games matter that way. And I will forever be behind expanding the playoffs. If they want to expand the playoffs again, I'll be the first one going, yes, we will. Because guess what, guys? We're not in a situation to where we can celebrate anything as far as, oh, we have a good season. We're going to get a high spot. No, we need this to be a bigger playoff so that we can get in. And that money gets shared. And it brings more money into us.
So here you go. Last year, Ohio State played Missouri in the Cotton Bowl. Both teams had almost everybody opt out, right? When those two teams took the field, that game looked nothing like what any game looked like during the regular season. Final score for that game was 14-3. Now, if Ohio State played Missouri with an opportunity to move on in the second round and play one of the top 4 teams, those games look completely different. Yes. And I hate Ohio State, but there ain't no way that team is scoring just 3 points if they put their A team out there, right? If Marvin Harrison is out there, if the whole rest of that program that is good is out there, they don't score just 3 points against Missouri. And that's what I'm here for. Give me that. Because ever since Jake Butt from Michigan injured his ACL in a meaningless bowl game, players are like, Jake Butt was potentially going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. And he hurt himself in a meaningless bowl game. And ever since then, dudes are like, nope. Marvin Harrison, there was 0% chance Marvin Harrison was playing in that Cotton Bowl because dude is going to get picked in the top 3 of the NFL draft, maybe even number 2. And he was like, ain't no chance I'm tearing anything in that game that doesn't mean anything. So he opts out. A lot of players do that. Give me 12
blame
teams.
him
Give
for
me
that
12
day?
full programs that want to play football.
Now it's a little different because now they're getting paid. And especially top players, they're getting paid well.
Yeah.
Like, they may stick some of that stuff out.
But
especially
you got to remember,
if they get injured, they may have to come back.
Draft. Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
If you're getting picked number 2 in the NFL draft, like, I don't know what Marvin Harrison Jr.'s NIL money looked like at Ohio State, but I guarantee you it probably didn't touch number 2 overall pick money.
No, it wasn't NIL money. It was just under the table money, like things been run forever.
But that's been going on forever. Yeah.
And that food
I've had former Virginia Tech players who I will not name tell me that multiple times in after game, like Sunday afternoon gatherings, that people like Jeremy Counts have come up to them and given them a $500 handshake.
Yeah, that's how that works.
I mean, yeah. Like,
yes,
so for any of you that think that never happened, you're wrong.
Yes,
it did.
No, we definitely did that. And Wayne actually brought a point up earlier that I wanted to explore.
When he said Grundy has grit? He
was talking about the kids that we said, oh, they're bad apples, and we sent them on their way, and they were good players in the Foo era. Yeah. And actually, when I did that thing with Frank, and I talked to Frank for a while that evening, we sat at the bar in over here in Christiansburg at Farmhouse and talked about a bunch of stuff, and he enlightened me on the way he saw a lot of things. The way he looked at it is, if a kid was a little problematic, he didn't immediately write them off. He would look at them. He would go in and he would be like, okay, what's their family like? And that's what they did with recruiting is if they start getting out of hand, which sometimes you need some kids that are going to get out of hand. You're running a football program.
Yes.
He would look at them and he'd look at their family and he'd be like, can his mom talk to him and get him under control whenever he comes to college and kind of rein him in a little bit? And that's how he saw it. And I don't think Fu thought about it that way or had the relationships to do the entire reining in. Hey, listen, you're getting out of control. I think that was something that was missing in the Fuente era, and I think that's one reason we saw a lot of transfers and everything else.
Agreed.
He didn't know how to handle those situations.
Yeah.
And what am I saying? Who is getting video game and taking VT over you? I mean, I'm taking VT.
I guarantee you, look, Wayne, I guarantee you that when that game comes out here in about 3 weeks or whatever it is, 2 weeks, however long it is before that game comes out, that my inbox is going to be flooded with people that have played as Virginia Tech taking on Michigan, and they beat Michigan. So, and it's cool. Like, it's all good. I'm here for it.
I'm going to make all my receivers Danny Cole just so I can have one catch at the end that gets disputed, just to show it to you.
Wayne says, Jeremy expecting something in return for the $5 he gave me. Well,
when did I give you $5?
You know the rules.
Was it when you came to PKs? Did I give you $5? $5. Why did I give you $5, Wayne?
That's what. Now we got it all. Now Jeremy's going to get all riled up. Is it 1 week? Okay, so the game comes out in 1 week. I guess I need to pre-order that game.
I'm going to wait.
I'm going to get nothing done.
I'm excited. There's an NCAA game coming. I'm very excited. I'm going to wait because right now I have a lot of time devoted to my daughter, and I don't have as much video game time. And if it sucks, like the Madden game sucked, and I've been burned on forever, and I stopped buying a while ago, I will probably wait for patches to come out before I do it. I will probably wait for them to actually fix it. That's the way I kind of see those things.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I am also so amped up to play the college football game that I think I'm just going to buy it, and I'll just deal with it. I'll deal with the glitches
I say
and the
this
hiccups
shit. I'll say this shit and then I'll buy it. I know what I'm gonna do, but for right now, I'm very against pre-orders in a lot of ways, especially from
the only thing is with the
game.
Pre-orders is if you pre-order it, I think you get to start playing it like 3 days early.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, do I want to play it this weekend or do I want to wait until next weekend? So that's kind of where I'm at. The good news for me is Bridget goes to the gym every day from 5 until 7. So I have 2 hours built in every night into my life where I can just sit and play college football. And you can be damn sure that between now and September 1st, when the actual college football season starts up, I'm going to play that fucking game every chance I get. So,
yeah. I can see that. I'm just, I don't know. I don't like to, I guess, reward bad industry practices, so I don't pre-order. And I particularly hate, EA. If you buy the deluxe edition, you can play early, according to Mo. Yeah, that's what we just said, Mo. Yeah, it's hot, too.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Pootie Tang? The movie?
Pootie? No.
Yeah, it was Chris Rock, and yes, it's excellent. And by excellent, I mean it's one of those cult classic movies that is insane. It was Chris Rock and Louis C.K. They wrote it. It's insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I'll
hot
check
too.
it out. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Definitely check it out. Well, Paul, I do think we need to hang it up because we're coming up on an hour and 30 minutes, and we're not trying to put people through that.
Yep. Shout out to everybody
right,
that jumped on, though, today. We appreciate you guys.
Shout out, everybody.
Like, share. Yeah, like, share. I've already drank my drink.
Like, share, subscribe.
Cheers, Jeremy.
Cheers.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And next time, 2 weeks from now, Trey Turner going to join us.
Yeah. Next week, Trey Turner.
I'm just going to promote it every week.
Hogan's legend.
Trey Turner.
Yeah, I'm going to continually do that now.
We'll have him on. I think that's a good idea. If nothing else, we'll just shame Trey into the point where he's like, all right, shit, I'll join you idiots.
Oh, I'm going to give him relentless shit for not jumping on.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. Also, just remember,
Trey.
Barbecue is not just the meat. It's everything that goes on your grill. Shout out to Jay Tucker.
No, that's true. It's not.
It's
all right, y'all.
Absolutely accurate.
Thanks for joining us. We love all of you, except for Wayne. This has been Blacksburg on the Rocks. That's it.